want to explain a little bit about the story of my channel, Manifesting the Vision. Why did I name my channel Manifesting the Vision? Well, at the end of the day, it's the story, it's the journey, right? I wanted to become a content creator and document my journey. And I'm one of the big advocates for manifesting energy, frequency, and etc. The reason for that is because once I learned this information back in 2016, like late 2016, early 2017, once I learned this information, it completely transformed my life. Okay, there was one video on YouTube that I watched. It was by YouAreCreators that completely and utterly changed the course of my entire life. And it was talking about a concept called reaping and sowing. Back in the day, I didn't understand manifesting. I didn't even know what reaping and sowing was. That video kind of put me onto it. I used to work a third shift job, a graveyard shift at Indium Corporation, and it was a very tough job. I didn't like it. There was people that worked there that were way older than me, and they were making the same amount of money I was, if not a couple dollars more. I didn't like that course of action. I kept seeing myself in those people, and I was like, there's no way life is just that. So after working there for about 6 or 8 months, something like that, I came home. You know, 6:30 I think we were leaving. I think it's like by 7 o'clock I was home. I was about to go crash out, go to sleep, so I can wake up, you know, around 2, 3 o'clock and still, like, you know, experience a little bit of the day. I was about to go to sleep, and right before it, I see a video on my YouTube that says, "This will change everything." So I was like, what is this? So I watch it, obviously like a dummy. I click the video, I watch it. After watching that video, I couldn't sleep for anything. Like, it kind of opened this concept of, is this real type of deal? What he spoke about is energy, frequency, and vibration. And he spoke in such simple terms. He said,
"This information is so simple and so easy to use that most adults will be turned off by its simplicity. For some odd reason, humans will value anything complicated and totally disregard anything made simple."
Humans tend to value everything that's complicated and completely disregard anything that's made simple. Which to me, my life is, I see things from a simple point of view. It's all about simplicity, you know. So once I understood reaping and sowing, I'm like a sponge. Whenever I soak some information up, I start to talk about it nonstop. It's like I'm like one of those like radio dictaphone things. You say something in that dictaphone thing, and it just spews out information, whatever you just said. Well, that's me. Whenever I learned about reaping and sowing, I started essentially, like back in the day, I was on Facebook. Facebook, there was this group, Proud Stoners. I was on it live every single day. We were pulling like 200, 300 viewers. That's kind of how I became known across the United States and the world, is by doing those lives. People would watch me and I would talk about random stuff. And one day I got invited to go to Virginia. That was my first trip out of upstate New York, which upstate New York is kind of like a dead-end place. Like if you end up there, leaving there is extremely hard. So if you're born there, people kind of stay there and they never leave, and they never go abroad, and they never go out of that upstate New York area. So to me, leaving was something new, you know. It was like leaving everything behind, everyone I know, and just kind of shooting my shot at something I've never experienced. Which that reaping and sowing opened up those eyes to me, that like anything is possible. Put those goals down on the piece of paper, plant the seed, water it. Another thing that reaping and sowing taught me is he explained the simple concept. Like YouAreCreators guy, he explained the simple concept, and that concept is, it's like planting a seed into a garden, which I'm very familiar with. Why? Because I grew up on the farm. I grew up growing things. I've grown many things, you know. I'm not going to talk about the things I've grown, but I learned everything there is. I'm not going to say I know everything, but the basics, right? I know the basics of growing pretty much anything, whether it's fungi, whether it's plants, vegetables, fruits, cacti, whatever you can think of. My goal and my place in this world revolves around helping people in many different ways, whether it's teaching, whether it's medicine, or motivation. Which is why across all platforms, my name is PAX MTV. Obviously states for manifesting the vision, but it also in ways resembles motivation. So like on Snapchat and other places, I'm PAX Motivation. So again, let me recite that. Your mind is your soil. Whenever you plant anything in the ground, you need soil, correct? So that's your mind. Your mind is your soil. Your seeds are your thoughts. The water is your action, and the sunlight is your feelings. Without 4 pillars, without those 4, nothing will grow, period. And that's the simplicity that I'm talking about. The simplicity is what made it so obvious to me. Once I heard those things, I was like, there's no way it's that simple. So you're telling me if I just properly attend to my garden, which he also explained, he stated that you have to attend to your garden. Because obviously, just like in any garden, the weeds tend to grow from time to time. Weeds are your negative thoughts, the thoughts of doubt and stuff like that. So once I understood that concept, I'm like, there's no way that I can just plant a seed, which is a thought, give it ample amounts of water and ample amount of action, and it will actually grow. There's just no possible way. But it was so simple to me, and that thought of humans tend to disregard anything that's made simple kept just drilling into my brain. So I was like, okay, let me try this. Whatever this guy just told me, let me just do that. Let me try this simplicity concept and activate my mind and plant these seeds into the soil and give them exactly what they need, which is water and sun. Another thing about the plant, of any plant, if you plant it, it needs to be at the right time. So he also spoke about seasons. There's seasons for reaping, and then there's seasons for sowing. Just like in a garden, you're not gonna plant a plant in the summertime and then expect it to yield you fruits, because the season will be offset. The plant won't grow enough in order to fruit in the right time. You have to plant right after winter in order for the plant to get X amount of time and grow to X amount in order to yield you the fruit. So this concept kind of changed and transformed who I was. I changed my name, I found a purpose, I gave myself a dream, a goal, and ever since 2016/2017, I have been relentlessly chasing that dream, planting more seeds, attending more and more to my garden, plucking more and more weeds out of it, and kind of just creating this imaginary perfect life that I live today. A lot of people that know me, they'll be like, oh, you're always so positive, like how do you do it, how do you do it? Well, that's exactly how I do it. I don't allow my garden to get filled with weeds and negative thoughts. I attend to it on a daily basis. I am not saying I'm a perfect human being. There, by no means do I not have bad days. I do. I just know how to deal with them. I know that pain is necessary in order to grow. I know if you learn to love the pain, it is extremely beneficial, because that is what is going to progress you to become that version. Again, the action, the water, the action has to be there. And if the pain is there, that's fine. You grow exponentially through pain. So I try to put myself through as many uncomfortable positions, because I learned that pain is what allows me to grow further. It allows me to plant more seeds, learn more lessons, and etc. These things completely, like, I might be ranting too much right now, but some people ask me for this content, and if this is not for you, you can skip away and you don't have to watch it. But I'm giving you the 2 cents on how anybody in this world, any person, whether you're 5 years old, 10 years old, or whether you're 55 or 65, anybody using this information will transform their life. How do I know this? Because I've seen other people do it. I'm not the only person that's talking about it. I'm not the person that discovered it. YouAreCreators is not the person that discovered it. Ancient cultures talk about this. I've studied so much. After I learned about reaping and sowing, I've learned about 100 different terms for reaping and sowing. One of them is manifesting. It's the same principle, just spoken from a different point of view. Every culture, Latin, and every culture, like from the oldest to the newest, every religion speaks about this in one shape or form. The Bible, the Quran, every book that there is, every religion speaks about this in one shape or form. Once I learned this information, once I understood energy, frequency, vibration, sound equals frequency, color equals frequency, once I learned that Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors of our lifetime, used this information on a daily basis, and he told, if you want to figure out the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Once I learned these principles, 369s, numerology, etc., 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 this takes years and years and years and years and years of learning. There's no way I can pluck it all into one video. There's no way that you can read one book and then learn all about it. Let's just say I've learned Nikola Tesla's entire autobiography from 10 points of view. I've read about 10 books on Nikola Tesla. I've read books on energy, frequency, vibration. I've read books about the flower of life and the principles of sacred geometry and all this stuff. So it's not like I'm talking out my ass. You can research this information and see that everything I'm saying can be found throughout the entire world. Ancient Egyptians have a flower of life carved onto a set of pillars and a wall. That drawing is longer and older than any religion. Anunnaki talk about this. Like I said, you can go back and fact check me on this. It's all out there. I'm just telling you that everything that I've learned is not some bullshit. And the reason I am who I am today is because of what I learned in 2016, 2017. So continuing from that, everything I put out forward, when I say I will create my company, I'll buy trucks, I'll have this, I'll have that, that's those seeds. And what you're seeing me do is me attending to my garden, watering my garden and giving it that ample amounts of sunlight by allowing myself to be a positive human being and checking my feelings on a daily basis. I try to give my plants as much sunlight as I can. That is why I want, and I'm always this positive person. And whenever painful experiences happen in my life, all I do is reverse it. I kind of like reverse engineer my brain and my thought process to see it from the positive point of view. The worst thing in the world can happen, and I'm gonna look at it as I am healthy, I am alive, I can see, I can hear, I have legs, I have arms, I am, again, healthy, I'm in perfect shape. That's what I do all the time. So no matter what happens in life, I always look at it from a perspective, not as like, oh, it could be worse, because now you're manifesting more of that. I look at it from a perspective that I have a family, I have parents, I'm alive again. I can see. Like, some people don't have the ability to do that. So you are already 10 times more blessed than a person that doesn't have, for example, an arm or a leg or a toe or an eye, or he's deaf or he's blind. If you have eyesight and you can hear and you can talk, you have no complaints. You should not complain about anything in your life. As far as your physique or looks and stuff like that, you were born with that and you cannot change that. There's nothing, like, that's your biological self. You were born that way. So the two ways, like, for example, if you're too skinny or you're obese, all you have to do, again, plant the seed, give it ample amounts of action, create this goal, and then non-stop, relentlessly chase this dream. And eventually it will materialize just like the fruit on that tree. So everything I do with a purpose. And I don't just say things and I don't just do things. I do it through this energy, frequency, and vibration situation. Some people look at it and they think I'm crazy or I don't know what I'm talking about. Again, the greatest, most successful, richest, top 1% of people, they use this information on a daily basis. If you ask any of them about this information, they will all tell you about it, and they'll tell you that they use it. That's how I know that I'm on the right track, in the right direction, and etc. Why did I give you guys these 5 cents? Is to open up your eyes to the world around you and tell you that anything is possible. No matter how small or big, anything in the world is possible. Sky is no longer a limit, and Elon Musk proved that by saying we're going to Mars. There is no limit to your dreams.
Uphill ahead.
You can do, have, and be anything you want in life. So chase that. Don't let anything or anybody tell you otherwise. Like I told you, if you can see it, if you can grow it, if you can plant it and give it exactly what it needs, that seed will grow into a mighty tree or a mighty fruit that will yield you exactly what you want. I hope that rant helped you a little bit. If not, just watch the story. See through my eyes exactly what I see. This is why I give you guys POV of my life. This is why this is just nothing but a rant and a journey, because once I do get all these things that I desire, all these things that I spoke forward, I want to look back and see myself exactly where I was at the times and show people that, like, look, whenever I was going through something, I was here and I spoke about this. Now I have this. But at that time, there's no way I saw that coming. Like, yes, I want it. Do I know when it's gonna happen? I do not. That's why I consistently just work towards it. I just try to get it by any means necessary, by chewing through Earth's core with my teeth. I will put as much work, give it as much water and as much sunlight as my dream needs until it gives me what I want. Again, there's seasons to life. You have to have and be at the right place at the right time. That's how it will happen. So all I'm doing is aligning myself with that right time, with that version of myself that is going to become that future me that's going to get exactly what I want. Does that make sense? So I appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you guys at the load. Peace.